Hello, dear students. Welcome back to Hybrid Learning. So, today we are going to continue the last video, that is physical and chemical changes. So, in this video, we are totally focusing on four different types of chemical reactions. So, let's get started. The chemical reactions that we will see today are basically known as oxidation reaction, thermal decomposition reaction, combustion reaction, and neutralization reaction. So, let's get started. The first reaction that we are talking about here is combustion reaction. So basically what happens here? It's a chemical reaction in which a substance is heated in the presence of oxygen to form one or more new substances. So in this case, what happens? Heat and light are usually given out during the process. Now, a very simple example is the sparkles or the crackers that we explode during the Diwali. In those ones, when you explode them, what happens? A lot of heat and light is being produced. It's a part of combustion reaction. Second of all, the barbecue, right? The barbecue that we use. So, what is there? We have charcoal there. So, charcoal is nothing but carbon, right? So, when we are taking barbecue pit and we are like burning it, right? So the charcoal is burning in presence of oxygen to form carbon dioxide, and other than that, we get in heat and light. So that is another form of combustion reaction. Now, the second one that we are talking about, that is the thermal decomposition reaction. Let us break the term. Thermal means heat, decomposition is breaking down. So a bigger substance will break down into two or more smaller substances. So basically what happens in these kind of chemical reactions? So here, when a compound breaks down into simpler substances when heated, so we are going to use heat as a tool, and we are going to break a bigger substance into smaller ones. So in this case, a lot of energy are also being taken, and when they break off into their corresponding products, a lot of energy can get evolved as well. So here, as you see, this is a copper carbonate, right? In the test tube, we are burning it. So what is happening after some times? It is basically breaking into copper oxide. So we can see the color change which is happening, which is an indication that, yeah, the chemical reaction has taken place, along with carbon dioxide gas. So carbon dioxide gas is liberated in the process. So this is how we get a thermal decomposition reaction. Similarly, we can have a lot other thermal decomposition reactions, like we can have calcium carbonate also. We can break it and we can heat the substance and it will break off into its two more simpler substances. That is again a thermal decomposition reaction. Now, the next reaction that we are going to talk about is oxidation. Now, why oxidation is important? So, when a substance gains oxygen, basically, so that time that is called an oxidation process. So, why it is important? So, we are very familiar with the iron nails, right? And the rusting of the iron articles. So, basically, what happens? We have an iron article or an iron nail. So, if we keep it outside for some days, right, in the presence of oxygen and moisture, it will form something like this, as you can see. A kind of yellowish layer will be formed on the iron compound. That is called rusting of iron. Okay. Now, this is particularly happening because of the presence of oxygen and water. So, this is basically an oxidation process. Okay. Another reaction, which is a very familiar one, that is called cellular respiration. Basically, what happens? The food that we take, right? Food such as glucose. Now, in presence of oxygen, it will break off and it will give away carbon dioxide and water. This is a process that we generally do. Living organisms generally have this process. And along this process, energy is being released. Now, this energy which is being released is used up by our cells for a variety of methods, for a variety of processes to survive. This energy is required. So these are some of the typical examples of oxidation method. Now, the last reaction that we'll talk about here is the neutralization reaction. Now, from the word itself, we can understand neutralization. So it is a neutral, right? So when we take an acid and we take a base, when we try to react acid and base, it will form salt and water. What is salt? Salt is the neutral substance which is formed. Okay, so a very small example I'm giving here. So this is an acid, so it's particularly hydrochloric acid, which is HCl, and this is base, which is sodium hydroxide. It is reacting and it is forming salt. So if you see here, this water part is going here, right? water is separated. What we are getting? We are getting sodium chloride, which is a salt, which is neutral. So this reaction is typically called neutralization reaction. Now let us understand this another fact about it, that we have to take equal amount of acid and equal amount of base. Now we know that HCl and NaOH, they are strong acid and strong bases. So since they're strong acid and strong bases, we can, when we take equal amount of them, when we mix them, a complete neutralization process takes place. Okay. So this is what we are going to discuss today. Okay. If you like the video, please subscribe the channel. Please subscribe for more updates and more videos. And do like the channel if you like. Okay. Bye-bye.